What's up YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, it's going to be 100% about life as an Army recruiter. Maybe you're currently about to become an Army recruiter. Maybe you're currently at the Army recruiting course and you have a bunch of questions. Am I going to like it? What should I know? What should I expect? What is my life going to be like? In today's video, I'm going to address all of those questions as well as giving you real-time updates to the recruiting world. So stay tuned, baby, because it's coming up. So first and foremost, I just want to say Happy New Year to you all. Listen, I know for those of you who are in the process of becoming an Army recruiter, you're probably wondering like, look, man, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. Maybe you're excited about it. Maybe you're not so excited about it. Trust me, I know. I was there not too long ago. So really and truly, today's video is just gonna be geared towards keeping it real with you guys, letting you know exactly what to expect in this recruiting world, okay? But first, if you're new here, make sure you find yourself to that subscribe button. Go ahead, we'll give you some time, man. Come on, man. Hit that subscribe button so that way I can let you know welcome to the family. So for those of you who don't know, when it comes to this recruiting world, first and foremost, you have to go to the Army recruiting course, right? Which is located in Fort Knox, Kentucky. I was recently at Fort Knox, Kentucky because I went through a school called the Station Commander Course, which was a very great course. It was very beneficial. I learned a lot of things. While I was there, I got a chance to meet and see a bunch of the people that were going through the Army recruiting course initially. That's the course that I went through 2 years ago. So I thought to myself, you know what? In order to answer the many questions that I've been receiving, you know, in my message box, in my emails about recruiters who just want to know like, hey, what is it gonna be like? Can you let me know? I figured I would make a video to kind of update you, and it worked out kind of well because I finished my second year of recruiting. I haven't been doing this for 10 years, okay? I've been doing this I'm working on my 3rd year now, okay? So I figured I would make a video for you while it's still fresh in my mind, okay? This tornado, this hurricane of Army recruiting lifestyle, okay? Let me get it out now while it's still fresh. I can let you know, a lot of the things to expect, a lot of the changing variables to expect, just general lifestyle while you're here as a recruiter, things of that nature, okay? So I hope this video is beneficial to you. If it is, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment in the comment section, and again, hit that subscribe button so that way I can let you know welcome to the family. So first and foremost, let me explain to you about ARC itself, okay? Or AKA the Army recruiting course, okay? So while you're at ARC, no, you're not going to be put up in some nice hotels, okay? I highly doubt it. Why? Because housing is going to be provided for you, okay? You're going to be in the barracks, okay? You're going to be in the barracks, so if you was receiving BAH, you had your own place, and you thought that you was about to be, in a nice hotel, I'm sorry, you're going to be in the barracks, okay? Eating food from the DFAC or the dining facility right across from the barracks, okay? But all in all, it's not that bad, right? How it's set up, you'll have your own room, the other person will have their own room, and y'all will share this common area. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's like a day room where there's like pool tables, and then you'll have the dining facility that's pretty close by. So your food will be taken care of, your housing will be taken care of, and the actual Army recruiting schoolhouse will be literally right across the street as well. So everything is on its own little campus, right? You really, as far as the purposes go for going to school and, getting something to eat, you won't need a vehicle, okay? It's like a triangle from the barracks, the dining facility, and the actual schoolhouse itself is basically all the same distance that you can walk to and fro. So you don't need a vehicle if you don't want it. Now, I recommend that you bring a vehicle maybe if after school you probably want to go and do your own thing, then by all means you'll be able to drive off post. You'll be able to move pretty freely, which is one of the benefits of driving there instead of flying there. Now, let me talk to you about the course itself. So a lot of people have been asking, hey, is the course very difficult? I don't want to fail. I'm not good with paperwork. I'm not good with people. I don't want this to reflect poorly on my career. Maybe you're a stellar soldier in whatever branch of the Army that you're coming from as far as MOS goes. You know, maybe you're doing good in that MOS. You don't even want to be a recruiter in the first place. And you don't want this to reflect poorly on you in your career because you've been DA selected. First and foremost, I just want to let you know, welcome to the DA Select world where you're told out of the blue, you're going to be an Army recruiter, right? Welcome. We welcome you with our arms open wide, right? Secondly, I just want to let you know that the course itself, is it difficult? Overall, no, it's not difficult in the aspect of you should be fearful. It might challenge you, possibly. If you're an introverted person, it might challenge you to step outside of your comfort bubble, right? Because this job is 100% dealing with people 24/7, making phone calls, approaching people, you know, having casual conversations with people. So if you are a type of person who you try to actively avoid socializing with people, it might be a little difficult for you. If you're a person who naturally, you have the gift of gab and you just be talking to anybody around you, then it might come a little bit more easily to you. So this job is a very social job. It's a very network centric job. Building relationships with people, getting to know them, getting to know their story before you even approach the subject about the Army. So you don't have anything to worry about when it comes to the actual course itself. The cadre there, the instructors there, they do a phenomenal job of teaching you all the material that you need to know. If I can pass, you can pass, all right? So just be very confident within yourself that, okay, hey, you got DA selected for the next 3 years to become an Army recruiter. You might as well bite the bullet, try to execute these 3 years the best that you can, you know, and if you don't like it, if you hate it, just go back to your job, right? Which leads me to my other point. A lot of questions have been, hey man, this is gonna hinder my career progression path. Meaning, becoming an Army recruiter is not going to help my career whatsoever, okay? I will say this, again, if you know that I don't want to be an Army recruiter, right? Let's face it, a lot of people do not want to be an Army recruiter, and honestly, I don't blame them. A lot of people just want to stay where they're at and progress within the job field that they signed up to do. 100% valid. I will say this, just put your best foot forward, okay? Is Army recruiting going to hinder your career path? Very unlikely, okay? Very, very, very unlikely. Regardless of the horror stories that you might hear, it's very unlikely. But just try to be proactive while you are on Army recruiting. Do something that will help your career path, you know, in some way, shape, or form. I.e., take some college classes. I.e., go to some boards that you may never have had the time to go to. Do something that will kind of benefit your career path. Volunteer to go to master, I don't know, resilience training or something like that. You know what I mean? Volunteer to do something. There's something that you can do that will still help your career path, even if you do plan on going back to that original MOS that you had, okay? So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because that's a very common question or concern, okay? But what I will advise against is don't come into the recruiting world just being a dirtbag, because all of the work that you put in, listen, if you were NCO, you know, you've been in the Army for 12 years, let's say, you've been great at your job, and then you come into the recruiting world and just sandbag, your NCOERs or your evaluations will look very poorly for these two to 3 years that you're here, right? Which is gonna reflect poorly on the prior 12 years that you've already done that were really great. So you're making yourself look really bad, and that will hinder your career path most likely. So just rest assured, it's not that bad, okay? It's not that bad. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm at my 2-year mark. I completed 2 years already. I'm working on my 3rd year. I had the opportunity to go to Station Commander course. Prior to coming to Station Commander course, I decided to actually switch my job, which was a 91 Alpha tank mechanic before, to becoming a full-time recruiter. I personally enjoy it. I wouldn't say I have the gift of gab, and I wouldn't say that I necessarily enjoy talking to strangers, because I really don't. I'm a person that likes my own space. I like to listen to my own music, be in my own zone. You know, don't come to me with no foolishness. Like, I'm a person that likes to create my little bubble, set my atmosphere within my little bubble, and I just prefer to stick to myself. I'm a loner, a lot of people would say, to some degree. However, like a light switch, if I have to go out there and talk to people, I don't mind going out there and talk to people. So maybe you are kind of somewhat similar to some degree. Maybe you like your own space, you like your bubble, but as long as you have like that switch within you to be like, hey, this is my job. My job is to go out there and kind of socialize to people, then by all means do that. At the end of the day, when you have the opportunity to go home, you can kind of shut that switch back off, go back to your own bubble. Even at work sometimes, I might be in my own bubble, just, you know, maybe processing paperwork, like just sticking to myself. However, there might be some few hours within any given day where I have to go out there. There's no avoiding it. I have to talk to somebody, right? So you just kind of have to have that switch within, you have to have that switch within yourself to be able to turn it on at times, shut it off at times, you know? If you're a person where that switch always stays on, then maybe you should be out in the community just 24/7. You love talking to people, then talk to as many people as you like, you know? Build that relationship within that community. If you're a person that's more intrinsic, you know, you stick to yourself, you really don't like it, maybe your strength might be to stay in the office and process a lot of the paperwork. You know what I mean? If you just like your music playing, you don't necessarily want to talk to anybody, maybe your strength might be the processing side of things rather than the prospecting side of things, right? So just things to think about, okay? But the recruiting world is not that bad. Now, let me tell you what wasn't told to me. Now we're getting into that part of the video where I have to be completely honest with you guys, okay? If nobody has told you, let me be the first to tell you that in this recruiting world, life it's continuous. It never stops. What I mean by that, you probably heard that before in your career, you know, within the army, it just never stops. No, okay? This is different, okay? In this world, it truly never stops, meaning month after month after month, right? Which reduces down to week after week after week, day after day after day. You are expected to perform. You are expected to produce. End of story, right? So let's just say, again, this wasn't told to me I had to learn this the hard way. Let's just say the Army says, look, Alexander, you have to put one person in every month, right? Me, when I first came into recruiting, I was like, one every month? Easy. Okay, I might do 7 or 8 a month, you know, like that's what I was thinking. You know, one doesn't sound too bad, right? Until I had to hit the ground running, and I'm like, oh, wow. Sure, you might talk to 20 people, which is great. Out of that 20 people, maybe 7 or 8 of them say, sure, I'd like to come and hear more about the Army. Okay, cool. Out of that 7 or 8, maybe 2 or 3 might be capable of passing the ASVAB. Out of that 3 people, maybe 1, if you're lucky, will be able to make it through the physical the first time around, right? And if you're lucky, you might get that 1 contract for the month. But in order to even make that 20 people, like I said, you might have to talk to 500 people just to even capture 20. It's like that, right? So each month, it just never stops. If you put in a person this month, great. You're a hero. Nobody would really mess with you, right? When that next month rolls over, I promise you, it's as if you haven't done anything for the Army, okay? Nobody is coming to congratulate you about all of the great things that you did last month. If they asked you to put 1 person in last month and you put 3 people in, wow, you are a hero. Your name might be posted throughout the battalion, right? When that month rolls back around, Sergeant, what you got for me this month? Okay, everybody has instant amnesia, like, no, this person just put like 3 people in, right? More than what they were supposed to. Amnesia hits them the minute that month rolls around. It never stops, okay? So you are always expected to produce. That's something that makes it very stressful for recruiters. You may have heard that maybe back in the day there was a high suicide rate for recruiters, and that was kind of the reason. It was just constant pressure on you all the time, and a lot of people couldn't cope with that. So I'm just kind of giving you a heads up, not to be the bearer of bad news. I personally like it because it keeps me in a state of never becoming lazy or complacent. If I was able to put somebody in for that month, then fantastic. You know, I applaud myself, but then I also know this is no time to take my foot off of the gas. This is time to set myself up for the following month, because the question is going to be asked, Alexander, who you got for me this month? So just keep that in mind. I'm here to advise y'all in a way that I wasn't advised coming into this recruiting world, okay? It never stops, it's constant, okay? However, you have what it takes. If you come in with the right mentality, this won't phase you at all. Now, based off of what I just said, it leads me into another point as well, okay? Which captures some of the questions that I've gotten. Listen, please, because this life never stops, I just want to let you know that yes, you should definitely take time off. Sometimes you just need time to hit that reset button. Within the last few months, I had to go on vacation. I left my cell phone, like I didn't even want my cell phone to be on me. Don't call me about anything in regards to the Army. That's where I was at personally, right? I just needed time to woosah. Don't think about the Army, relax, decompress, because I know that when I get back into the office, that constant grind is gonna be on me again. That constant need to produce is gonna be on me again, okay? So please, take time off. Your unit should be very lenient with you as far as taking time off. As long as you're doing the right thing, you're not a dirtbag, I'm pretty sure they'll have no problem with you requesting any type of leave, okay? But this recruiting world let me say this. This recruiting world has the potential to burn you out if you let it, okay? Don't catch yourself in a situation where you're starting to lose hair, you're starting to go gray super fast, you're aging exponentially, right? Don't let this recruiting world do you like that, y'all, right? Just do your best to maybe take some time off or balance your workload, okay? Don't get so caught up in this never-ending cycle that you forget or begin to neglect yourself in ways that you normally wouldn't have, right? Coming from an Army base, everything is structured for you. You know what basically you're gonna be doing every day, right? You know when you're gonna get off work, you know when you're go into work, you know when you're gonna do PT, when you're gonna eat, you know everything. Everything is already laid out to you. In the recruiting world, things are different. You're given your mission, hey, you're expected to do this for this month, and then from that point on, it's on you. It's 100% on you. That aspect of freedom, a lot of people enjoy, but at the same time, if you're not a good time manager, or if you're not a good planner to say, you know what, this week I need to do this, I need to go to this school, I need to talk to these people, then you might find yourself in a situation where you're always trying to play catch up, and therefore you're aging exponentially, okay? So, little disclaimer, if you didn't know before, you know now, because I told you, okay? I'm trying to look out for y'all, man. I'm trying to be y'all's angel, okay? Don't let it burn you out. One of the biggest points that I want to tell you, as a recruiter, you single-handedly represent the United States Army, okay? I didn't understand what that meant until maybe months into my recruiting journey. You represent the United States Army, meaning that you're not on a base anymore. On a base, you are surrounded by thousands upon thousands of other soldiers just like you. They wear the uniform just like you. But as an Army recruiter now, you are going to be sent out there within the civilian population, and you might be the only person in the community wearing an Army uniform, most likely. What does that mean? That means that if you are carrying yourself less than professional, you will literally represent the whole Army to whoever is watching you. Wow, look at this guy who's acting like a complete... I guess everybody in the Army is... Right? So you can kind of fill in the blank on that. You represent the whole Army, okay? Or let's say vice versa, you carry yourself very well. You're highly professional. You look really nice, well maintained. people are going to be like, wow, man, the Army is squared away. You know, I might have a nephew. I want him to represent that as well. Okay, so you represent the United States Army. You're going to have countless people coming up to you, which I'm sure you already know, thanking you for your service. They're going to want to talk to you about, listen, my grandfather was in the Army, he was in this unit, you know, all of this stuff, because you are the only point of contact that connects them back with whatever memory of whoever served. Okay, so again, I'm just throwing this out there because some of you might like that, some of you might not really like that, but wherever you fall in that spectrum, just expect it. Okay, so go out there and represent the Army, but at a high level. Okay, sometimes even myself, I see a lot of people that are very ate up, or I try my best not to be somebody who is very ate up, you know, double check myself, make sure my boots just my laces aren't flopping around everywhere, you know what I mean? And I'm not wearing my hat on backwards or anything foolish like that, because all it takes is for one person to see you and in their mind, oh, the Army has no discipline, you know, or whatever branch it is that you might be becoming a recruiter in, right? So you represent the Army at all times. In representing the Army, just know, and this I think might be the most important point that I might give you all in this video, okay? Be honest with your applicants, okay? Don't lie, please, y'all. Don't lie to your applicants, okay? Be honest with them, because at the end of the day, you are dealing with somebody's one life, right? In the aspect of their future. You're dealing with their future. You're dealing with somebody's son, somebody's daughter, right? If you know that something is not going to be good for them or benefit them in any way, look, just be honest with them, okay? If you know that, man, I might be setting this one up for failure, but you know, I'm expected to get one for this month, you know, listen, don't chase fulfilling your obligation within your contract to sending somebody, you know, in a den of lions, okay? Don't send somebody to be fed to the wolves because you just didn't care about that individual. Care about all of your applicants. Treat all of them. Listen, if you know, well, you know, I wouldn't want my son to be doing this. I wouldn't want my daughter to be doing this, you know? If you just think along those lines, okay? Because you are also dealing with somebody's son or somebody's daughter. If you're watching this video and you're not in the Army and you're looking for an Army recruiter, by the way, just send me an email and I'll do my best to help you out the best that I can. I'll link my email maybe in the description below, okay? But if you are an Army recruiter, look, just be professional, 100%. Be professional. That's when you go to schools, that's when you're dealing with teachers, that's when you're dealing with students, that's when you're dealing with college people. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. Just make sure that you're being professional. At the end of the day, you don't want to jeopardize your entire career just doing foolish stuff, okay? So exercise wisdom. We all know that you're a professional because you're a non-commissioned officer, and just conduct yourself as such. But make sure that you care about all of your applicants. Even when I send applicants to basic training, I still do a follow-up message with them. You know, hey, how was it? Some of them I have already promoted to the point of maybe they're about to become an NCO, you know, E5 or so. Just keep in contact with them because it goes a long way. Their parents appreciate it. Their parents might still come back to the recruiting office to shake your hand and thank you so much for what you did for their son or their daughter, right? So it goes a long way for the people who are benefiting from your professionalism. And that part of recruiting, I think, is really, it's very satisfying, you know what I mean, to know that you help somebody in a positive way, you touch their life in a positive way. So what is your day-to-day life going to be looking like? Honestly, it's very flexible. I'm not gonna lie to you. You make sure that you still stay in shape because you're going to be expected to pass your PT test. All right, so don't lose. You're still in the Army, okay? Just as a little disclaimer to you, you are still in the Army, okay? Make sure that you're able to pass your height and weight, things like that. Your day-to-day life, though, is very simple. It's very flexible. You will come into the office, and then your schedule as far as that day, I'll be honest with you, you kind of create. It might be tailor-made by your station commander to some degree, especially he might try to play some things to your strengths. So meaning if you're good on the telephone, he might have you put majority of your time in the telephone, right? He's gonna be there to train, coach, and develop you. So if that's what you can do, then you know what, put some of your time into that. if you're good with face-to-face communication, you might be out there in the community. You might be out there in schools giving school presentations, you know, whatever your strengths are. It's very flexible in that regard, right? As long as you're talking to people and you're telling them about the good things that the Army can benefit their lives, right? So it's very nice, right? I kind of like that flexibility personally. You know, you're treated like an NCO, which because you are an NCO, okay? So I like that flexibility. Go out there and do whatever it is that you know that you can do. But at some point or another, you are definitely going to be doing phone calls. You might see in some of the videos that I post, I might be making phone calls just because I want y'all to listen in on the conversation that I'm having with some of the people, right? Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's serious, sometimes they might just hang up in your face, you know, like, wow, you know, like, dang, you couldn't have told me Happy New Year or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might just straight up hang up in your face. Hi, how's it going? And the minute you say, yeah, you know, so-and-so, I'm an Army recruiter, that's it. So you're definitely gonna be making phone calls. School presentations is gonna be a big one. Face-to-face contact, maybe just you going to Target, Walmart. You can prospect and find people in the gym. You can find people, I don't know, if your thing is basketball or baseball, you could find people playing basketball. Like, you are working kind of 24/7 in a sense, you know? Whatever it is that you like to do, if you like to go hunting, you might find people out there while you're hunting or fishing, you know? So it's kind of nice. I like that aspect, that it doesn't matter the time of the day. I could just be living my regular life. I personally like to play sports, right? So maybe I can coach a sports team. Maybe I could just, you know, hey boss, I'm about to go. I know there's people on the basketball court right now. I'm about to go play some basketball, right? And I'm gonna go out there, but while I'm playing basketball, I'm also prospecting. I'm also kind of telling them my story. People are gonna ask you things like that. So you're always on the clock, but in a good way, not in a stressful way, in a good way. Even when you're off, I would say you're on the clock to some degree. If your thing is video games, hey, play video games. Maybe talk to some people on the headset that you're wearing. I don't know. Tell them about the Army. You know, you just never know. So it's very nice, right? I've heard people getting people from the club. I've heard people getting people from the bar. I've heard, listen, I've heard a lot of funny things, right? But they just know that it doesn't matter what I'm doing or where I'm at. There are going to be people around. So they just make the most of it and prospect in whatever location that they find themselves in. All right, so I've talked to you guys about the Army recruiting course, okay? I think I hit as much questions as possible. I know I dodged the question concerning people's families. For example, I guess I can generalize. Is Army recruiting gonna be something that's beneficial for me and my family? Maybe you are married, maybe you have children, whatever the case may be. Maybe you have always been in the field and have missed so much of your family time. I know that there's so much sacrifice that goes into being a soldier, okay? So I would say this in a comforting way. Yes, you will be able to go home to your families every night, you know, as long as they're within the area, right? You'll be able to go home to your families every night, which is nice. That is a blessing, especially coming from a lifestyle where you might be deployed for 9 months. You might have been in the field for 30 to 45 days, you know, it gets kind of ruthless. You know, you might be on a training cycle that every 2 weeks you're gone for, you know, a week. You know what I mean? So it's nice that you don't necessarily have to worry about that. So there will be time for family time. However, just make sure that you are producing. As long as you're producing, I'll say this, as long as you're producing, nobody's gonna mess with you, okay? As long as you are doing what you're getting paid to do, nobody's gonna mess with you. I think that it's fantastic for families, as well as single people as well. But that's about it, y'all. I know I let this video run on for some time, but I figured that I would try to capture as much as I can to everybody who's about to become an Army recruiter. Let me just say, welcome to the grind. I will probably see some of y'all maybe in Kentucky at the schoolhouse, maybe at some point. It was nice to see some of y'all last time. When I'm there again, I'll probably bump into some of you guys as well. Or I'll probably see you guys, or you know, we might be in the same battalion for all we know. We might be in the same company. You know, it's funny because we really could end up in the same office as well, okay? So I'll see you guys out there as well. Welcome to the grind. I hope that it treats you nicely, but I hope that this video kind of gives you some of the tips or tricks, advice that you can use to your benefit prior to becoming an Army recruiter, instead of being like me, having to find a lot of this stuff out the hard way, okay? So I congratulate you, Battle, and I just want to say already, welcome to the grind. If you haven't already, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, especially if you're listening to me talk right now, okay? If you made it all the way to the end of the video and you don't hit that subscribe button, come on. Come on, man. I don't even know what to call that. That's just inhumane, okay? So always remember, y'all, that success is made by actions, all right? So make sure that you get up, go grind. I'll see you next time.